Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Whoa! I'm Venom Month, and welcome to Chewy Mew, but more specifically, welcome to me messing up my intro for Venom Month. But yes, it is Venom Month. If you don't know what that is, it's just me doing Venom-related reviews and videos for the month of March, which is Venom Month. And for this video, we're going to be doing a versus between my first ever Venom figure, which is from Spider-Man Classics, some series. I don't know what the name of the series this guy's from, and the Series 1 Venom figure from Spider-Man Classics Series 1. So we have these two guys here. And spoilers, I like both of these figures. This one, just from a personal standpoint, I like this one way more. This is honestly one of my favorite figures ever in my collection. And they're both very tall figures. Because here they are compared to your average ToyBiz Spider-Man figure. And you can see they're way taller than him. He like makes it up to their chest on both of these guys. But yeah, so this is a versus between these two. To ultimately determine which one of these two is better, or which one I like more, and which one I think is an overall better figure. Now, the elephant in the room here is, or the Venoms in the room here, is, you can tell, like, this one is not a fully transformed Venom. This one is obviously Venom in, like, his full, Eddie Brock is fully covered with the symbiote, whereas this one, keeps falling over, whereas this one is, kind of partially, like, transforming. The upper body is, like, the arms and head, or the arms and torso and pelvis are mostly just regular Venom. But the legs and stuff and the head, you can see the flesh is showing in parts, or his skin, not flesh. The leg there completely uncovered. And I think it looks really cool. This is definitely in the ToyBiz era when villains were less posable compared to they were in, like, later villains. When Spider-Man was super posable, like this kind of body, this kind of posable. And then villains were like maybe like 12 POA. I think this guy is like a 14 points of articulation, and this guy has 16. I think he's falling over. Here's this guy's head sculpt. It kind of is like a little bit like a Bagley style look. Bagley drew Venom with really huge eyes. Eric Larson and Mark Bagley did that kind of like this. This one is definitely more stylized looking as well. He's got like the really big upper torso and stuff, big shoulders, big biceps, legs and stuff. This one is more kind of like, I mean, both of them don't look too human because, like, look at the tendons and stuff popping out of this guy. I mean, everything is different on these two. They don't share any body parts. But the head sculpt on this kind of is like an alligator look, and you can see Eddie Brock's face in there, which this is pretty cool. It's sort of half transforming Eddie Brock. Like, I mean, more than half transformed, but Eddie turning into Venom, which just, it looks really cool. This, like I said, low articulation. It's kind of more just like a decently articulated statue, whereas this guy has way less. I mean, they have almost the same amount of articulation. This guy has 16, that guy has 14 points, but this guy doesn't have the posable legs. I don't know why these guys keep falling over, but you can see this guy, he has like the legs to do the splits. So like, as far as articulation goes, they both have some strengths and they both have some flaws. Like, they both have low articulation, and this guy's ankles and knees are really loose. I played with this guy a bunch, so his joints are loose. This guy, he's also loose as well. But as far as articulation goes, this guy originally just had a rotation here in the head, but then I broke the neck off, because, you know, I got this when I was little. And so I tried making a custom neck joint here that it pretty much offers just, originally the head would just rotate around, you couldn't look up or anything. The shoulders would go up all the way, they go all the way down to the side, they rotate all the way around. No bicep swivel. And then you get a single bend in the elbow, which has decently good range, like less than 90 degrees. And then you had finger joints, which admittedly, that's not really the most useful on that hand. This one kind of makes a fist, but for some reason he has like a pointing finger, which is kind of weird. The waist rotates all the way around. Originally, he had a very clicky waist that when you'd rotate it, it would make clicking sounds. But I removed that because I think I cracked the figure open for some reason. And then I got rid of it because it wasn't, I wanted to tighten the arms and then fix the head, so I cracked it open, then I just got removed the ratchet. The legs rotate like this, which is, you know, weird, because it doesn't, I mean, you can kind of get him like his legs to spread out, but it's not as good as, you know, compared to these legs. You get a single bend in the knee, which is a little bit past 90 degrees. The ankle goes forward, not much, it goes back pretty far, and then the toe joint doesn't bend the most. This one bends better than this one, but they're not quite the best toe joints, which, admittedly, toe joints and finger joints on this specific figure aren't really the most useful, considering he doesn't have enough leg articulation compared to like Sinister Six Venom, who has like, you know, full on ToyBiz like style articulation here, you know, where he's like all these joints and stuff. And so the toe joint is more useful on a figure with a lot of articulation compared to like a guy that only has like 4 points in his legs, or 3, 1, 2, 3 in each leg. As far as this guy's articulation goes, ToyBiz did something different with this guy compared to this guy. Instead of just having a swivel, I feel like these figures, they're too big to be on frame here. But this guy, the head rotates all the way around. This one is really loose, but it's because it's old and stuff, you know. But it's like on a ball peg, so it does wiggle, but it doesn't have any like actual movement. And it's also loose, so it's not like it holds position. But pretty much all it does is the head rotates. The arms go up only about that high. They don't go up all the way, but that's pretty much all the range you would want for that. No bicep swivel, but you do have an elbow swivel, which is kind of like how Hasbro does their female Marvel Legends elbows before they started doing double jointed elbows. So, I mean, that's kind of useful. And then your rotation here in the wrist. So, and then you got this big Venom claw hand. The waist rotates all the way around on both of these. The legs kick up. You can kick the legs up all crazy far up, but if you kick them up that high, about 90 degrees before they start going out to the side. Get a single bend in the knee, which is also pretty decent. The ankle goes farther back and goes farther forward and forward back compared to the other guy. It doesn't have toe articulation though, but like I said, with this low articulation in the legs, it's not the most useful. And the bottom of the foot here, this one says a 2001 Marvel Entertainment made in China. This other guy here says 2002 Marvel Entertainment ToyBiz Worldwide made in China. And this body does kind of reuse the body of the Planet of the Symbiotes Lasher figure, which I already reviewed for Venom Month. I don't know if that's going to come out before or after this. But yeah, so he loosely uses a similar body. There's some like retooling in the chest. The head's different. The below the bicep is different. Below the legs is different, you know, because that guy has like different claw hands and this guy has regular like human style shoes or whatever. But ultimately, this guy does win with articulation, although it's pretty tied. Like as far as like the knees and ankles joints are pretty much the same. This guy, they both have pretty good shoulder articulation. Waist swivel is the same. Head articulation is the same. Pretty much the only difference that it really comes down to is, do you prefer having elbow joints? And finger joints aren't the most useful, but having, pretty much it boils down to, do you prefer having elbow joints and these weird like leg rotations? Or do you prefer bicep swivel and like full-on like hips that can do the splits and kick forward and back and have, you know, more modern ToyBiz figures, or like 2000s era ToyBiz articulation? I think I prefer this articulation over it just because the legs offer more movement and stuff. Like, I mean, you could get this guy into a bit more dynamic poses compared to this guy. Like, one of the big points of articulation is missing from both of these is any sort of torso articulation, which you can have him crouch down, but you can't have him looking up. Like, that's as far as it gets. But mostly you're just going to have him kind of like in a, oh man, I'm transforming kind of pose. Whereas this guy, all the posing you can really do is in the arms, and you can get him to kind of like squat down. I mean, okay, toe joints are a bit useful on this guy, but I mean, ultimately, I think the articulation on this guy is a bit better because he had the hip joints. If this guy had the same sort of articulation just with these kind of like posable legs compared to these, this guy I would say would win. This one just has it's all the paint here that it has is just for the sake of, you know, the color. Because you got like the big white spider on the front and back, which is painted pretty clean. Some paint is chipping off, but it's because it's old. You know, the skin color is skin color. But then the face has a decent amount of paint. Like the actual face there, you can see. He's got a crazy looking face, but it's mostly just painted like for the aesthetics, you know. But then on the teeth here, you get this like yellow golden kind of yellow shading there. The tongue is paint and shading on it as well, like the shaded paints on the back. As a kid, what I did was I painted all of it black because I didn't like the blue shading. But now I kind of appreciate it because it makes it look more than just like a plain black figure. See, it's light blue in spots here and there. The neck looks kind of bad from this angle. But ultimately, I prefer the paint on this guy. So I think, like, as far as the paint goes. Also, you might be able to tell, but this is a very unprofessional versus video. But this one, I just like that it's an original body just for this figure, you know. But that's pretty much all for this video, for this day of Venom Month. If you like this video, you know, let me know. If you want to see more Venom Month stuff, or also just not Venom stuff, I do also non-Venom reviews. So subscribe if you want to see those things. And I will see you guys in the next day of Venom Month, or review. Wow.